We are going to have a look at a question regarding how to find our purchase figure using our trade payables information. So for the year ended the 31st of March 2023, we are given the following information and we are required to work out purchases for the year. So we are giving our trade payables opening and closing balance. We are told how much we have paid out of our bank account for trade payables, and we are also told the cash purchases that we have made during the year. So first and foremost, what you need to be aware of is my opening balance in my trade payables account a debit or a credit? And likewise, is my closing balance a debit or a credit in my purchase ledger control account? So let's just have a little recap of that now. If you have a balance brought down, which is your opening balance, that is always going to be a credit balance in your purchase ledger control account. Remember, trade payables are representative of amounts that we owe our suppliers. Therefore, these are going to be liabilities. This is something that we have to pay back. Therefore, by nature, they are going to be a credit by default. That therefore means then, when we have a closing balance on our trade payables account, it's got to be a debit. It works in the opposite way of our opening balance. So we refer to this as our balance carried down. This is, of course, going to be a debit. Remember, it is just a temporary balancing figure, which is going to close off the account at the end of any given period. So at the end of this year, as at the 31st of March 2023, we are balancing our account with that £7,200 that we have left owing to our credit suppliers. It's not an actual transaction. It's used to balance the accounts, and we need to do that in order to get double entry. So to approach a question like this then, if you enjoy your T account, you can, of course, use that. But do remember that if we have any cash purchases during the year, this would not be included in our purchase ledger control account because them purchases have not been done on credit. We have instead paid for them outright. And as the question asks for our total purchases, we would then have to account for that at the end. So to approach this, I would be personally drawing out your T account, beginning with your opening balance, which we know is a credit. So my balance brought down at the 1st of April 2022 was, of course, £8,500. Therefore, my balance carried down at the end of the year, I know, has to be a debit of £7,200. I am told that I have made bank payments to trade payables during the year of £53,000. Well, this ultimately reduces the amount of trade payables that I have, reducing my current liabilities because I have paid off some of my debt. Therefore, any bank payments here are, of course, going to be a debit in my purchase ledger control account. That is the only 3 transactions I can include here in my control account. Therefore, I would take the usual approach and I need to balance 2 sides here. Well, I've already done my balance carried down. The question's asking me for purchases. So what I'm going to do is I am going to find my credit purchases for the year. So I added up my biggest side, which was, of course, my debit, deducted my balance brought down from my credit, which ultimately give me a difference of £51,700. They are the amount of credit purchases that I have made during the year. I am asked, though, to find my total purchases for the year. So in this scenario, what I need to do is I need to add £2,000 to that figure in order to give my total purchases of £53,700. You can simply do it without the T account if you feel confident. The formula that we would have used there would have been any bank payments made to trade payables minus our opening trade payables plus our closing trade payables plus any cash purchases that we have had for the year. And do remember that any cash purchases that you have made are never going to appear in that purchase ledger control account.